What is going on YouTube? It is just my opinion, and today I'm going to be reviewing Big Sean's I Decided. Now, I know this is a long postponed video. Should have been out a while ago. I was supposed to do this review with my boy John, but due to the fact that he's more important than me, he wasn't able to do this video with me, so I had to do this one solo. Now, Big Sean is a Detroit rapper who was signed to Good Music back in 2007. And I'll be completely honest with you, I've never really cared for him that much. Now, he has been featured in several songs that I really enjoy. Some of them include the song Click, Meek Mill's song Burn. I enjoyed him in quite a bit of Mike Posner's older mixtape stuff. And most recently, I actually really liked his verse on the song Holy Key. But his overall music, I just never really cared for. I just thought that he was just extremely generic. And there was nothing about him that I was able to connect with. Nothing about him that was new, exciting. His voice a lot of times also doesn't really have a lot of energy or a lot of charisma. His first album, Finally Famous, came out in 2011, which was okay, but it was just a very generic and basic pop rap, brag rap, and punchline rap album. There are other artists in this type of genre that I'd much rather listen to over Big Sean, which include artists like Lil Wayne, Drake, Kanye West, Childish Gambino, Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, and even Chitty Bang. His sophomore release, Hall of Fame, I thought was one of the hardest listens to get through as far as a hip-hop album in recent years. There was just nothing great about it at all. And Dark Sky Paradise, which came out 2 years ago now, although I can't say that I loved the album, I can easily say that it was his best effort yet so far. So I went into this really cautious of the fact that I am not a Big Sean fan. There has not really been much that he has put out in the past that I've really enjoyed. So what did I get out of this album? So the first song, Intro, actually sets up the concept of the album for I Decided. It's basically what is supposed to be an older version of himself speaking, I guess, to God, in which he's basically saying he feels like he had made a lot of wrong decisions in his life and about how he feels like he has not lived up to the potential in which he should have. And this kind of flows right into the song Light. And I gotta say, this first song, Light, here on the album is a standout track of mine. I actually think that this is one of the better rap songs that I've heard so far this year. I thought that it had some very pretty keyboards, and it was very simple but very pretty instrumental. Some nice bells as well. I thought Jeremiah sounded absolutely outstanding on the hook of the song. And Big Sean, I thought, actually did a very good job as far as his verses goes, especially in the first verse, basically rapping about his resiliency and his inner strength. And then we get the song Bounce Back, which is the lead single. Definitely my favorite song on the album. This song right here is my anthem because I continue to take L's throughout my life, but somehow I still bounce back. It's very catchy. The beat is by Metro Boomin, and it has that very nocturnal, moody sound to it that Metro Boomin is known for. I thought that it was easily one of the best Big Sean songs I've ever heard as far as lyrically goes, as far as hook-wise, as far as flow. He sounds confident on the song, he sounds charismatic, and he sounds hungry and determined. And I wish that we could hear more songs like this from Big Sean going forward, and I wish that we had heard more songs like this from him in the past as well. So from here we get the song No Favors, which has this kind of dark, nocturnal, moody trap production to it. Kind of reminds me of something from Drake's If You're Reading This It's Too Late as far as the production goes. And Big Sean actually sounds a lot like he's trying to sound like Drake from If You're Reading This Is Too Late on this song. I think obviously Drake did this style a little bit better. Big Sean also takes some jabs at some of his critics, basically stating about how people have been jacking his flow for years, and also how many hot verses does he have to put out before people recognize his talent. I've been very critical of him in the past, so I thought that was interesting. But one word, Eminem. He absolutely goes berserk on this song. Very surprised to see these two collab together. Now from here we get the song Jump Out the Window. Was a song that I was not really too fond of at first, but it kind of grew on me in the context of the album. Basically sounds like this is something that could have been on either Hall of Fame or Finally Famous, but it's way better produced. It has a nice bounce to it. This song is basically all about this bad relationship that this girl is in that he wants to take this girl out of. Decent song overall. It did have, though, its corny punchlines in it that Big Sean is known for, like the Mario Kart lines about how the chick him and her used to play Mario Kart together. She always used to choose Princess because she's a princess. And then he also said a line about how she got a new perm and now she looks like The Weeknd, and I thought that was actually kind of funny. We then get the song Moves, which is another standout track of mine. Follows almost the same formula as the song Bounce Back, a few songs before it, but just a little bit less memorable. And it also ends way more abruptly than Bounce Back does. That was probably the one thing about this song that I kind of wish would have been tweaked, is that I would have actually liked to have made this song a little bit longer. But overall, still pretty decent song, pretty catchy. I got the moves. I got the moves. So from here we get the song Same Time Part 1. It has a nice atmospheric, kind of jazzy feel to it as far as the production goes. Now, this is a duet between Big Sean and Jhené Aiko, who are dating currently. I have not cared for anything that I've heard them collaborate on together in the past. But this song was actually pretty tolerable, I would say. Again, though, this song ends very abruptly, and I'm not sure why. And then from here, we get the song Owe Me, which is a perfect example of why I don't like Big Sean in the first place. To me, I thought this song was just absolutely boring. I thought that the beat was boring. I thought that the hook and the verses and everything like that just sounded very drab. I thought his delivery was very boring and annoying. This song basically sounds like a Drake song again from If You're Reading This Is Too Late, that Drake would have done better. This song is basically about a past relationship of his. Could it be about Ariana Grande? I don't know. If it is, move on, bruh. You got Jhené Aiko. She has Mac Miller. From here we get the song Halfway Off the Balcony, which I thought was a pretty decent song. And I really like the production on this. It's very nice, moody. Big Sean is basically just reminiscing on what is important to him in his life. And basically just talking about, in the hook too, about how his job means more than money. His relationships mean more than sex. Basically kind of trying to see the bigger picture of things. The one thing I will say about the song, though, is that at times his delivery kind of I didn't really care for. And I'm not sure what the purpose of him chopping and screwing his lyrics up on the second verse was. So then from here we get one of the more interesting concept songs-wise on the entire album, which is Voices in My Head / Stick to the Plan. I really like the first part of the song. He's rapping from the perspective of himself. Basically, we hear kind of like these inner monologue ad-libs telling him about how he's a failure. Feels like he's a kind of like a disappointment to himself and the people around him. It's almost like he's kind of talking to himself. I like the beat on the first half of it as well. I really liked the first half of it because I was able to kind of connect with it as well. But then it flows really badly into Stick to the Plan, which the beat slows down and he's just kind of screaming, stick to the plan. And it's basically just him trying to talk himself up and trying to say, like, stay focused on what you're supposed to do. But I just thought the transitioning was just really bad. It slows, and then it actually speeds up again. And towards the end of the track, he starts rapping almost in the same flow and just as fast as like Busta Rhymes would. And I just thought overall, the concept behind the song I thought was really interesting, but the execution for it was just poor. But from here we get the song Sunday Morning Jetpack, which is another standout track of mine. It has a very nice soulful feel to it, some very nice keys and violins with some nice background vocalists, and the dream sounds absolutely outstanding on this song. And the song is basically all about his childhood and again, another ode to his grandma. kind of the same way that he did on One Man Could Change the World, basically talking about all the different things that she used to do for him to make his life better and improve his life. Thought it was very heartfelt, very passionate on his part. I thought overall this song was a very good song. And then from here, we get the song Inspire Me, which as opposed to Sunday Morning Jetpack, which is an ode to his grandma, we get a song in which he's paying homage to his mom. And I thought this was another standout track of mine. I like the beat on it. And the song kind of reminds me in the same way that Drake has done songs in his past, either speaking to his mom or about his mom. And this didn't come across too corny either for Big Sean. Again, it came across as very authentic and very passionate, and another really good song from this album. So from here we get the song Sacrifices, which is another one of my least favorite songs on the project. Again, I just did not care for Big Sean, the production on it either. I just thought it was kind of boring. I didn't care for Big Sean's delivery. I didn't care for the hook. The message was okay, basically talking about all the different sacrifices that he's had to make in order to become successful. But I just thought the execution was not very good. Didn't care for his flow, didn't care for his delivery, and I didn't care for Migos really on this song either. Not that I've been a huge Migos fan ever, but I thought that he was trying a little bit too hard to sound like Migos, Big Sean himself, and then I just didn't think Migos really delivered anything that much better or different that Big Sean couldn't have done. And the final song on the album is Bigger Than Me, which I thought was a good way to close out the album. It has a nice, soulful Chicago type sound to it and had a big booming choir in it. And in this song, Big Sean is basically talking all about giving back to his city, talking about giving back to his family, and how about basically his entire career and his spot in the music industry is bigger than just him, which I thought was great to hear from a guy who has been mostly just rapping about how much money and stupid shit that he has throughout the course of his career. And I thought that the phone message at the end, the conversation between him and his mom at the end, really tied the album and the concept together very, very well. So overall, in conclusion, I was actually pleasantly surprised by this album. This is definitely his best work yet. Other than a few songs here and there that I didn't care for either the production or his delivery on, his growth for him as far as both songwriting goes and as far as conceptually goes, he comes across as humble, passionate, inspiring, and confident all at the same time. He gives glimpses of his life, and he's actually comes across as someone that you can connect with on this album as opposed to his previous albums. I think that overall, if you combined his best songs on this album and his best songs on Dark Sky Paradise, I think that you would have just an overall amazing album. But as it stands right now with this album, I find this to be a pretty solid album, but not something that I find myself returning to. But I am definitely on the lookout now for what Big Sean does in the future as opposed to his past works, where it just makes me want to think, why is he still rapping? So overall, I give this album a 6.5 out of 10. This is just my opinion, and thank you for watching, YouTube.